Hey there, my name is Lee Meyer if we have not met yet. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to start a reselling business. We're going to walk through all the steps that you need to take to get up and running with your reselling business today. So first off, what is reselling? In case you're wondering and you're going, okay, what is this whole reselling thing? It's simply buying something at a lower price with the goal of being able to sell it for a much higher price and earning a big profit. This is a really simple model to follow. It's something that you can repeat over and over again. It's basically wash, rinse, and repeat, and you keep making more and more money. The more items that you are able to sell, the better items that you are able to sell. And there are hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, probably way more than that, of people who make part-time as well as full-time livings as resellers. Yes, it is true. Let me tell you a little bit about my story before we get started, just so you know what is possible for you. Now, I am a busy stay-at-home mom of 4 kids. Yes, I don't have a whole lot of spare time, and that's one of the great things about a reselling business is you are able to run it on your schedule. You're able to fit it in maybe with your family life, or if you're caring for an aging parent or you're working a full-time job. It is something that can be done in a very minimal amount of time per week because you're probably busy. I'm busy as well. All right, so I started actually about 6 years ago now. I had 3 kids at the time, and I needed a way to be able to make money from home. I had been a stay-at-home mom, but working part-time, you might say, teaching at our local university as an adjunct professor. That position ran out, and so I needed an additional way or another way to be able to bring income in for our family because it is really tough to live on just one income these days. I had a brand new baby, and there weren't a whole lot of other jobs out there that fit with my lifestyle. I knew I did not want to be doing any direct marketing or hosting parties or trying to get my friends and family to buy things, begging them to buy things from me. And so a friend happened to mention her reselling business in passing, and I said, "Oh, a reselling business? Like, what is that?" And she told me how she sold things on eBay. She went to thrift stores, bought items cheaply, and then sold them for much more online. And I said, "But a business? Like, I've sold things on eBay, but that can be a business?" And she said, "Yeah." And so she showed me how. And there were so many stumbling blocks along the way, so many questions that I had. It was a lot of overwhelm at the beginning as far as how to get started, how to ship things, how to store things, what to look for, where to get things, where to sell things, all of those pieces. And if it were not for her, I would not be here today. I have since gone on to make over $100,000 net profit as a reseller. Now, the majority of that, we're going to get into this here in the steps of how to start your reselling business. But spoiler, the majority of that money has come from eBay. So I'm just going to give you a disclaimer right up front. If you're anti-eBay, I really encourage you to at least give eBay a shot because it is very hard to make sales. It's very hard to make even a full-time, even a part-time income on some of those other platforms. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to give you 10 easy steps to get up and running with your reselling business today. And before I forget, I do want to mention that I have a free 5-day course called Reseller Bootcamp. And in each day, you're going to get a video lesson that will help you along the way in order to become successful as a reseller. I'm going to leave the link below this video. This is something that you're not going to want to miss. I've been able to help probably about 10,000 people right now get started through Reseller Bootcamp. The link is below the video. All right, so step 1 of starting your reselling business is deciding what to sell. There are so many different things out there that you can flip for a profit. For some people, it might be sports memorabilia. It might be collectibles. For me, that's clothes. Think of what you know well, what you are maybe comfortable with. Maybe you like trading cards. Maybe you like more of the tech gear. Pick one category and really master that, really learn that before you move on to other things. For me, I like clothing because it's easy to find. There's plenty of it out there. It's easy to store. It's also easy to ship. And tons and tons and tons of people are buying used clothing online. So it is a really profitable niche to be in. All right, step 2 is to find places to source for your business. Now you're gonna hear this term sourcing in the reselling world. It just means you're going and getting items to sell as part of your business, items to flip. And there are so many places that you can source for reselling. There's garage sales, estate sales, flea markets, then there's thrift stores. There's also so many online options. There's reseller lots, which is basically like a box you could get of items to sell. And these are available on a ton of different platforms. You can get them on Poshmark, you can get them on eBay. Just look for reseller boxes and you will find so much if you just Google that term. All right, step 3 is to figure out what platforms to sell on. Now, there are a lot of different options here as far as various platforms to sell on. And I do find that a lot of new sellers, a lot of people new to the whole selling online thing, gravitate towards Poshmark and Mercari. These are very easy apps to use. You can take pictures, right within the app, create your listing right within the app, and they're very user friendly. However, with that out of the way, eBay is gonna give you so much more bang for your buck. It's gonna get you so many more sales. It's gonna get more eyeballs on your items because there's just more people on eBay. eBay users also tend to be buyers versus some of the other platforms. You may get a lot of likers, but they don't actually ever intend to purchase your item. And so because of that, for me, as well as for a lot of resellers out there, eBay is the primary place where resellers are making the majority of their sales. Step 4 is to set up a separate checking account specifically for your business. It's very important to keep your business money separate from your personal money. You don't want to mix the two, so go and get an account right now. It does not have to be with a business name. It can be in your name. You just need it to be separate in order to make your accounting easier, in order to get a quick picture of, okay, this is how my business is doing. This is how much money that I've made. This is how much money I've had in my account. This is going to help you so much if you do this right from the beginning. All right, after you get that set up, next, you're gonna set up an accounting system. This does not have to be anything fancy. I do not want this to scare you off. You do not need an accounting degree or a business degree. You simply need a way in order to track how much money is coming in, as well as how much money is going out. When you subtract those two, of course, that's gonna be the money that is left over in your pocket. Now, your accounting system can be something as simple as a pen and paper. You're just gonna record every month, okay, this is the money that came in, this is the money that went out, subtract the two, and then hopefully your end result is positive. That means you made money. You can also use a spreadsheet, or you could use an actual accounting software. Step 6 is to create a storage system. Now, a lot of resellers start out and they just start accumulating, and maybe their house gets a little bit overtaken. They haven't thought through where they're gonna store things, how they're gonna store things, how they're gonna find things when they sell. So I would start out now as you're watching this video and think about, okay, where am I going to store my items? What room in the house am I gonna store them in? You can even get really creative with things like under the bed storage. So think through, maybe what totes you need to buy, what boxes you need to buy, maybe you want shelving. So think through that, where you're going to store your inventory. Step 7 is to create an inventory system. Sorry, let me say that again. An inventory system. This is how you're going to keep track of where your items are. Now, the important thing here, when you're starting out, this may not be a big deal in order to find your items. If you've only got 20 items listed, it's not going to be that hard to find an item when it sells. But I want you to plan now for growth. Now, what if you had, instead of 20 items, you had 50 items, or you had 100 items? You're gonna need a system in place in order to find those items. And so you need to think through how you're gonna organize, how are you gonna know where those items are located? For me, I use a simple bin number method where I put the bin number in my listing. This is something that only I can see. And then it tells me when that sells, this is in bin number 1, or this is in bin number 10, whatever bin it is, then I know I can go to that bin and find that item. Number 8 is to go ahead and gather up your shipping supplies. There are so many free shipping supplies that you can start gathering. Some of them are going to be through USPS postal store. You can go and Google USPS store, and you'll want to stock up on their free shipping supplies. I would get padded flat rate as well as unpadded flat rate envelopes. You might also want to consider getting some of their flat rate boxes, such as the medium flat rate box and possibly a large flat rate box, depending on the types of items that you're going to be shipping. Another place that's really good to get free shipping supplies is from your own house. So you don't need to be super careful or super, this item has been used once, I can't use it again. Recycle those items that are coming into your house. And so if you get a lot of deliveries, if you get a lot of packages, go ahead and hang on to those boxes, hang on to that bubble wrap, those air packets. All of those come in handy, especially if you're going to be shipping things like breakables. I even keep padded envelopes that come from Amazon and use those to protect those types of items. The other place that is good to get shipping supplies when you're first starting out is the dollar store. You can get simple manila envelopes, the brown envelopes, and these run, I think you get maybe a pack of 8 for like $1 or $1.25. I think the dollar store is now. And this is a really good way to be able to say, hey, I'm going to spend $1, like it's not a big deal. Otherwise, Amazon is probably the cheapest per bag. If you're going to be getting poly mailer bags, poly bags, that's going to be the cheapest, but you're probably going to want to buy them in larger quantities. So I typically buy about 200 bags at a time. This runs, I want to say right around $16 for 200 bags. Number 9 is to research if you need to create a business entity. So let me explain this again. I don't want to scare you off. You need to research depending on what country you're in, depending on what state you're in. Every single place is going to have different requirements for whether they want you registered as a business or not. So in my own state, that requirement is $12,000 of gross receipts. So if you're doing $12,000 in sales, of course, at the end of the day, if you're doing $12,000 in sales for the year, you're not bringing home that much, right? But it's based off of the gross, at least in my state. They ask that you be registered as a business. That's my state. That's just an example. So you're going to need to go and research for your state what the requirements are for having to go through and create a business entity. Now for me, getting a business license, I think it was $19. So it's super, super minimal, but research, just make sure that you're good. If you're brand new starting right off the bat, again, don't let this scare you away. I'd rather you start and then research what those requirements are and make sure that you're legal. All right, number 10, speaking of being legal, is know your tax liability. Now, the general rule, pretty much this goes for anything, that is if you're making money, you need to be paying taxes on this. And I'm gonna guess this is probably the same in pretty much every country around the world, right? Taxes are kind of like a given in life that when you make money, you're gonna pay taxes on it. Now, this is gonna vary depending on, if you're actually making money on the item or not. So let me give you an example. If this is a personal item and maybe, 2 years ago, you went to the mall, you bought a pair of jeans, you spent $100. You're going and saying, hey, I'm gonna start this whole reselling thing. You take that pair of jeans and you sell them online for $25. Did you make money? No, because you paid $100 out of pocket, right? That was a personal item that you technically lost money on. So you would not owe taxes in that case. The opposite of that would be, let's say you were at a garage sale, you found this pair of jeans for $2, and then you turn around and sold it for $22, so you made $20. That would be your taxable income. That is what you made after the product. Of course, you can always subtract out other expenses like your shipping supplies, your seller fees, anything that any fee that you incurred as part of selling that item. So the important thing here again is to be legal and always pay your taxes, give the money to whom the money is due. One more word on taxes. Now, a lot of people think, okay, so I gotta pay taxes on this. Is it worth me making money at the end of the day? And really, it's no different than you having a job and paying taxes on it. You're paying taxes on the money that you make, the money that you bring into your household. So let me ask you, is it worth it for you to make money? Yes, that should be a no-brainer question, right? So with these 10 steps, I'm gonna go over them real quick. Decide what to sell. Pick one thing before you move on to other things, and don't overwhelm yourself. Find places to source. Go ahead and look at all of your different options. There's gonna be an option that works for you wherever you live. Next, figure out what platforms to sell on. I would highly recommend that you go with eBay. That's the platform that works the best for me, and it's where I make the majority of my sales. Next, get your business checking account opened up so that you're able to keep your money separate and keep track, do a better job accounting. Next is to create your accounting system. This is gonna be how you keep track of how much you make every month. And I would recommend doing that every month and seeing, okay, this month I made $1,000, this month I made $2,000. Know your numbers. Number 6, create a storage system. Know where you're gonna be finding things, and also an inventory system so you can keep track of where those items are when they sell, so that you're not having to cancel orders for not being able to find them, or not having to waste tons of time. Your time is valuable. Know where those are, know where to grab them within, a few seconds. Next, gather your shipping supplies, and don't forget all of those free shipping supplies that are available to you on the USPS.com site. 9 is research. If you need a business entity, this is so important, so do not miss this step. And lastly, to know your tax liability. I hope this video has helped you know how to get started. Again, I offer a free 5-day course, Reseller Bootcamp. In that, I'm gonna walk you through this whole entire process of getting up and running. I would love for you to be able to join me in Reseller Bootcamp. The link to join will be below this video, and I will see you there. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you soon.